5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
420! Woo!
Sorry, we just watched the clock on the laptop go to 4:20. We were struggling for something to say before the intro.
I knew that you were going to say that.
I feel like if that's anyone's first.
No, but it would be so. But imagine they turned it off because it was just like 3, 2, 1, 420, and then it dropped into some music, and then they turned off the podcast.
People probably will. People probably will.
Well, that was the test because
now you're into the thick of it, and we're going to talk about smoking weed.
Yeah, now we know exactly who
Why
the audience
should you
is.
go to a parkour event? Weed. What should you do at a parkour event? Weed. No, welcome back. Motus Prodcast, episode something. Not sure when this one's going to come out. We're recording it in advance. It depends on when Hendo's part 2 drops. Might have already dropped. Might not happen yet.
Yeah. But we recently went to an event called For the Love of Movement, or some people like to
why do people
say
call it Fortlum?
People
are like, oh, you're going to Fortlum? And I'm like, sorry, what the fuck are you saying? Like,
it's because that's the abbreviation, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
It's easy enough.
Yeah, I know, but I just find it weird how they say that, the abbreviation.
Oh, Fortlum. What?
I understand texting it. Anyway, but whatever. That happened.
We went there.
We're
much more
talk about
recently than this episode. It's the 3rd right now. We're recording this,
but we went up on the 26th.
No, 27th.
On the 27th. I thought we went up on.
For those who are not aware, and 99% of you probably are, For the Love Movement is one of the best parkour events in the calendar. Happens in between Christmas and New Year in Den Haag, Holland.
Mm-hmm. But it's not a competition. So when we say, because
not a competition. Yeah, it is simply
under the category of jams.
Yeah.
And parkour events.
It's
number one.
Well up there.
Yeah.
It is 350 people in a giant sports hall for 3 days, and they build this like mass setup of scaffolding and apparatus and a few trampolines and mats, and you are literally just there to train.
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
sick
other,
how simple it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just that. Like,
yeah. That I really like that. And what is it? There's a summer one as well, but this was the winter.
Happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last year
that
one didn't happen. They don't know if they're going to bring it back.
Okay.
From what I actually heard, they're struggling with the hall that it happens in, just because it's a hard sell to get loads of people coming into a big hall, and there's a bar on site because it's got like a weird little bar area. And I mean, the organisers, Jump Free Run, do an incredible job. They host catering. So how
on earth do they do this?
Well, I mean, it's
no, but
it's 160 quid or 160 euros or something. So they use that money to obviously.
Yeah, but like, there's so much that can go wrong,
and the amount of volunteers they have.
They're volunteers, but I'm just thinking about like people getting drunk and hurting themselves, or people
it's
bailing. They stay pretty calm.
They stay so
like
calm.
the whole time.
You never see anyone furious.
Yeah.
I'm sure it probably happens, but
it is cool.
Yeah, we made a documentary on it last year, and Unlocked, which goes into a lot of that. But that is one of the best events to go to. But also there are a growing number of incredible parkour events that.
Yeah.
I mean, step one in this podcast, we're just going to focus on like why you should go to these events, and also what you should, probably the best etiquette for the events from our experience, things you should and shouldn't do. I've also written a list of filming tips, because there are now a lot of people who want to make event videos. It's a huge part of how I sort of gained a level of a name as a filmmaker, because it's incredibly beneficial if somebody's there filming and they put out a banger edit filled with amazing athletes. Like it looks good. For sure.
And there's going to be a lot of sorry, my phone went off. There's going to be a lot of people searching, well, not even searching, but if that first video comes out, it's going to be the most watched, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to want to know, people probably want to know if they're going to be in it.
So, I mean, this year's For the Love Movement was one of my favourites easily. I think I
really enjoyed it as well, especially that we drove down. That was awesome.
That made it really nice.
If you have the opportunity to do that, I say do it, because I'm pretty sure it leaves it doesn't fuck up the planet as much as going on the plane.
Yeah, true.
And it's just more fun.
And yeah, I think I personally, I don't know. I think maybe I'm a bit boring, but I try when I do trips or events to like, just have a few things that I put into practice to make my time as good as possible.
What do you mean?
Well, like my baby wipes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But there's like certain things that I really I've fucked up on before, where I've like got way too drunk before and then ruined the next day and things. And there's like now I've like this year I feel like I did it pretty well, apart from forgetting my toothbrush and drinking way too much on the first night. But whatever. But so why the fuck should you go to a parkour event? I mean, a lot of people do already go, but I think that especially in America, I think there is a huge amount of people who just train in like their hometown or city, and they're aware of other events like Jump Fest isn't happening anymore, but events like that, and they're so beneficial to go to, in my opinion.
Definitely. And also it's such a good excuse to get yourself somewhere if you want to travel a bit. I'm pretty sure a lot of people go if they're from far away.
I've just realised Keelan's sitting here. I've got all these notes written down, and the iPad has been locked the entire time.
I forgot that you wrote it on.
He's just staring at a blank iPad.
No, but like, there's a lot of people who would go to For Love Movement who live far away, and then they'll stay in Europe for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really cool. And you see that like group of people every time kind of do that.
For sure. I think straight up travel is just. There we go. They have just loaded in. You need to click on each one to get it to open up.
Perfect.
Travel is just straight up good for you. I think it can be a daunting thing, especially if you're young, but doing it under the right circumstances, like in the right way, especially with such a fucking amazing parkour community, it's such a good place to...
Yeah, I forget everyone's just so helpful, aren't they?
Yeah, like it's not like you're traveling on your own independently. Like going to an event like that, you are surrounded by friendly people.
Yeah.
So
and everyone's the same, just nerdy people jumping on walls.
And you will make so many friends, and also, I mean, for us, like we've now done this for however many years. Like we got friends who I might only see once a year at For the Love Movement.
Yeah, I wonder how many friends I probably made just through For the Love Movement.
I don't know how many I've made at the event, but I know, there are straight up a number of people.
Well, actually, but I mean, like, you've probably spoken to people on social media.
True.
Who
and then you meet.
You've heard of before, and then you meet, and then you have the connection. Because obviously you talk to people on DMs and things. Yeah. But then when you actually meet, that's...
But I didn't travel that much last year, so I think there's quite a number of people I saw last For Love Movement, and... this one, who I haven't seen in a year.
For a year, yeah.
So it's just sick because you're just there, you're doing parkour, and you're just catching up.
Yeah, it's just really cool.
And also, but yeah, and it's meeting new people that you, as Keelan said, you either looked up to and had aspirations to meet, or spoken to, or just new. Like I fucking all the time just see like new, amazingly talented people. I'm like, who the fuck's this kid? Like,
yeah, there was a few, isn't there?
Yeah,
there was some few doing some stupidly cool stuff,
and you're like, oh, they're sizing up this weird like double cork.
Yeah, it's when you haven't seen them
like,
train before.
No.
You're like, this could be fucking awful. This might go really wrong, and you're like, oh, and you're that's like, weird. Why isn't really he? Good. Yeah, why haven't I heard of him before? Yeah, which is cool. It's really, really cool. And you shouldn't be scared to. You really shouldn't be scared to talk to people, anyone there, because everyone's pretty similar.
Super nice. Yeah, like I don't think I've ever met. You meet people where you have awkward conversations, whether it be like just social anxiety type things where you're a bit weird, like you kind of both you don't hit the nail on the head. But I've never had like a conversation where I've been like, that guy's a dick. Like never. Like I haven't had that either. I've never had like he's a bit of a nasty person, I don't want to talk to him. Like
thinking about that, there's never any like fights, is there?
No, I mean maybe they've happened, but like
maybe, but we haven't heard of it. But like it's funny how everyone just gets on with it. Yeah, it's just really, really cool.
And you get like your groups because you will navigate. You'll naturally float towards like your certain friend group, and you see sort of bubbles. And there is this big debate, especially with For Love Movement, because they have essentially what is a VIP area or an invited guests. VIP is a kind of very important person. I mean, we thankfully, well, luckily, amazingly get to benefit from that. But in years before, they've put it in a separate room. It's attached to the hall. It's all glass, so it's not like you're locked away, but it's slightly warmer. This year, that room now wasn't there. So the only benefit really is bunk beds. Rather than sleeping in hammocks or on an air mattress on the floor, we are provided with bunk beds.
I actually had I was comfortable. I did wake up quite a few times in the night while sleeping in there. Yes, I know that's the beer. Yeah, but I think it was pretty good, especially that we could kind of see.
I had no complaints about where it was because I just had a thick sleeping bag.
Yeah, same. I brought a proper winter one.
Yeah, I do struggle in a hammock.
Same.
But so there's a bit of a debate because some people are like, oh, it shouldn't be segregated. I personally don't think I'd really care if I had to sleep next to the sort of the rest of everyone else. I mean, it's chaos.
It is chaos. I am happy that it's segregated, just because now that's the norm for Love Movement. I know that there's a quiet bit that, like, if I'm ready to go to sleep, it's not quiet, but you know that bit's going to be like a bit less chaotic.
Yeah.
But we've what?
You've got like a scratch on your pop filter there.
Nice.
When I drop the microphone.
Cool. I mean, I think the first For Love Movement
I've slept in the main bit a couple of times.
We're in the main bit. It's also just really fucking cool. That was actually really funny.
One year, a few years ago, every night I got so drunk, and me and Eric just used to. We had a sleeping bag that we just put somewhere, and we would just walk out in the night, and we just find a crash mat that someone else was sleeping on, and just like cuddle with them, and just like, and we did it like 3 nights in a row, and I drunk way too much. But my main benefit of the whole kind of segregated thing, and the most kind of important to me is now that I bring stock out, i.e. clothing, because I want somewhere fairly safe to put that. Not that I think people are going to steal it. I think it's just easier to misplace.
Yeah, especially like charging items and having charging. Just belongings. Yeah,
I bring a big couple of cameras and my laptop, which other people do as well. Yeah. But I'm quite particular about like charging every evening, etc., etc. So
definitely.
But that's not everyone gets that. But I don't think that's the end of the world. I think the event is just incredibly run. But anyway, I think that one of the biggest benefits of why you should go to parkour events is new training environments, whether that be outdoor environments at an outdoor event, or in this case, like a hall full of, like in England, we don't have much scaffolding. We don't have any bars.
I always find myself progressing at For the Love Movement because of the bars. Yeah. Not just from swinging, like from like landing on rails
rail prees and things.
Striding across rails. So it's so good for anyone. And even if you are someone who trains on bars all the time, you're not going to be training on something that is exactly the same, are you? So it's going to be new.
What was really interesting is we walked in this year and I was like, oh, the setup's pretty much exactly the same as last year. But actually, although it was laid out in exactly the same way, there was enough differentiation.
Yeah, I wasn't there last year.
I was not, like, it didn't, there was no negative to it. I was like, oh, it's going to be a bit samey. And then actually, it was fucking great. Like,
yeah, that's sick.
Also, I mean, it doesn't really affect me because I'm not pushing every challenge to its max.
I mean, apart from that last day, you're going hard with all the challenges.
On the stick.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is it gives you the opportunity to practice new styles or try new styles because there's very few times in your training where you're going to be surrounded by so many people who are varied and inspirational, and
you can tell by a lot of the time as well from like different countries they have. They nearly have like a group of, like, if you see a group of English people, I can sometimes very easily tell that they're English from how they're training. Same with like German people and
It is really interesting.
Cool.
I mean, the Spanish, when GP were at like their strength and they used to travel as like a giant collective and train all really hard, they'd be the funniest one because they have such a distinct, like their reverse velocity.
And then that's the thing, you'd get people who have probably gone to those events and they have been inspired by watching GP, and then they will kind of want to adapt themselves to move in that way. I think also you get people in the baggies and
seeing people whose styles, like seeing people's styles in person. Because you might watch, like, I don't know, Valtteri or something, and just be like, oh, he does loads of spinny things, and then you see it in person, and it's like, it's just...
I actually always find it more impressive in person.
Always.
Because it just looks so cool.
And anyone like Bart or someone who does, like, weird stuff that you wouldn't expect in weird environments, like angled stuff and off-axis, like, jumps and things, when you see him tackling a challenge in person, you're like, oh my god, he's good.
Yeah, definitely.
I just realised, actually, I spoke to Pasha for about 30 seconds. I haven't seen him in ages. I just had a quick catch up and that was it. And there's people like that. It's one of those events you
can't speak to everyone.
You can't. And
I'd message so many people and been in conversations like, can't wait to see it for the Love Movement, thinking that I would actually really conversate with them. And probably had one little hello.
Yeah. And I think because when I was training, I was basically training with people's styles that I'm closer, i.e. your guys. I just didn't really go and hang out with Pasha that much.
Yeah.
So it's like a shame because you look forward to like having a catch up with somebody that you know.
And that's a rarity actually nowadays.
Well, that's
Pasha's always in
now
USA,
he's in LA.
isn't he?
That's what I was, because I was like, oh shit, he's here. Like that's really nice to see him.
Yeah.
And he's famous.
He is bloody famous.
But yeah, so another massive benefit of why it's good to go to places is you meet friends, but also those friends might be putting on another event and they might like you.
And then you get invited.
And you become aware of things. So
yeah,
it's like,
and that's when you start riding that train, and it can be way more powerful in a sense than. Well, actually, no, social media is very powerful.
But it gives you a
people
platform
can see,
to put social media out as well.
Yes, exactly. But like you were saying with watching someone in person like Valtteri or Bart, and you see how good they are, really, someone will see that in you, maybe, and there you go. Like, it's one step closer to being an athlete.
Exactly. And yeah, as we just said, you can capture video content of yourself, and you're going to be able to put out more in a new environment where people want to see clips from that event anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually beneficial for Love Movement for you to film yourself.
Yeah,
because the more of that, the better they can sell.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it helps the event and it helps you because people are looking for that stuff anyway. And it's just a fucking all round good time.
Yeah, I'm quite sad it's over, to be honest.
I know it was a very positive one, I feel.
Yeah. I enjoyed.
Our next topic: how to spend your time at events. Smoke weed every fucking just wake and bake. That's all that matters.
True, actually.
Yeah.
And sleep in till maybe 11, 12ish.
3, I think.
3. Get up, wake and bake, and maybe just like go back to bed. Go on your phone for a bit.
Yeah.
And then just before lights out, I reckon do
a lache.
Yeah.
And then go and have a joint.
Yeah, or I reckon do like the biggest running pre you can. just something really fucking massive.
Something that stops the crowd and pisses people off.
Yeah.
Bang it and then fuck off again.
It
sounds like we're talking about something specific, but we're not. But
no. I'm just
the reason
to do the
for,
worst person possible.
The reason for all the weed talk is for the Love Movement is obviously in Holland, which is legal marijuana. So it is definitely probably the event that I've been to that is most dominated by people who probably spend too much time smoking weed and not training, I would say. Like, I mean, there's weed at every event. Sorry, parents listening to this.
Yeah.
But there are times where I look at that event and I'm like, there's some fucking sick athletes here who are just... They're not wasting the time, because at the end of the day, it is partially... it's not even partially, it's a hugely social event.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
So crowded, you can't get...
For them as well, it's like they get to go and spark up a fat one with their mate that they haven't seen... Yeah, that they haven't seen in a while, or new friends that have the same interests.
Yeah. So I'm not hating on that so much, it's just...
And there's so many people who will like be productively fucking high.
Yeah.
Just get high. I mean, imagine that. You just get really blitzed and then you go out into that training hall and then you're just really waved
by somebody doing a lash.
You get kicked in the head, or you can just have a fun time.
Yeah.
But I think you should spend all of your time training like Ed Scott. You should just be Ed Scott.
It is.
Why don't you be Ed?
I mean, I think, wow, you look like you've got ringlets. They're like dangling. Keelan's just put his drawstrings over his ears because he's got big fluffy hair. You look like you just got ringlets hanging out. Like is it Hasidic Jew? I think it is.
Wow. Yeah. No.
It is.
Go on. Talk to the
people.
Talk to the people about Ed Scott.
Well, I mean, just looking at not just Ed, but
Ed. All about Ed.
The best thing to do at that event or at a parkour event is maximise the things you cannot do at home, which, yes, you can train at home, but you are training in a new environment with new inspirational people.
In the winter.
Yeah, very true.
when the weather's so shit.
So, wake up. Obviously, don't burn yourself out. Stretch, warm up. Like, you've got to maintain your body. Know when to call it a day, which for some is earlier. For me, a lot earlier than someone like Ed. But just fucking train. Like, just hang out and train and focus on the movement, because you're not going to get that environment put on a plate like that again. And yeah, I
I really wish I'd trained more.
But you trained.
I did train. No, but I just know how much more I could have trained.
Yeah.
Because there was only one day I think I trained until I physically wasn't allowed to because the lights went off.
Yeah,
and I was like, why? I could have done that every time.
That was terrifying. Keelan and Ed were doing this line, and Jordan, and there was like a running pre at the end.
Yeah.
And Mark was on the mic being like, "Guys, it's 10:30. I'm turning up the lights now." And we're like, "Fuck, somebody is about to get bodied."
I know.
When they turn
it
the
was
lights
the rail to rail bit. If the lights went off halfway, I probably would have really hurt myself.
Really hurt because it was high.
Yeah. So I only had one attempt. Luckily, it didn't go off while I was doing it.
Yeah.
But it fucking went off.
But so I've always been quite bad at this because I don't treat myself like an athlete because I'm not really, but I never train as much as I could, and also I love a drink and I love the social side of the love movement, and it's so easy come like 7-8 o'clock to be like, oh, the bar's open, I'll go and have a few beers, and then you sit there and you walk back into the room and people are still training till like 10 or 11 and I'm like, shit, that should be me. But now I'm
but now I'm drunk,
now I'm sloshed. There will at events like this, there will always be time for like chilling out and partying because people fucking party till 3 a.m. every single night.
Yeah.
So train until the lights go out. Like train or stay moving until you.
And the same with like wake up at a responsible time so you can.
Yeah.
Unless you went to bed at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, then wake up at just 7, that's fine.
Yeah, that'd be
only
all good.
An hour.
You can train very safely on 1 hour sleep.
Yeah. Don't drink too much that first night. I did it a little bit this.
Yeah, I drinked on. I kind of get
excited
because you're with so many people. So many people that you don't know. Yeah, we played cards on the first night,
and then I had a good old headache.
Drinks. Yeah, and then my sleep was a bit disrupted, and I woke up and I was like, ooh.
And the more you wake up in the night, the more you have to walk to the toilet, and people piss all over the floor, and
and then you have to get back in your sleeping bag with your little foot box at the bottom.
Pissy feet, yeah. And so it's that. But yeah, I mean, look after, drink lots of water. Don't go too hard on them. There's always an after party at parkour events. Always.
There's 2 at this one.
At that one, there's an after party every single fucking night. Yeah. But just fucking train. I love it how we're talking to this like the 12-year-old who's aspiring to go to his next parkour event, and we're like, don't drink too much, mate. Like, lay off the weed. Yeah. He's like, what are drugs?
But it is the truth that everyone should realise.
Yeah.
There's different things everywhere. I don't know where I was going with that. I just want to. I've already said it. I just want to make sure people appreciate Jordan and Ed because I just every day wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
And I failed.
Who else is killing it when it comes to training?
Well, there's loads of people who are killing it when it comes to training. It's just
I mean like at events.
At events who are always on it and like just always using the setup.
That's definitely a number. Camilla.
Yeah, she's always training.
Killing it, yeah.
It's hard because I would be asleep, so I wouldn't know who's already on it. But I just know that
people who just wake up and you're like, oh, they're already warm.
Yeah, but it's so funny how there's so many like people who are not invited who are just already. They've already been training for hours when you wake up.
Yeah.
That's incredible to see.
Yeah.
So many people who are really passionate about the sport.
It's also slightly harder to stay asleep when you've got people that close to you making that much noise.
Yeah, exactly.
I think as we said it in the just before, but socialize, like there will always be time to socialize, and you can socialize while training.
Mm-hmm.
And try to meet new people, and don't be afraid to go and talk to Pasha or some big name athlete. Like they will have time for you. As long as you don't walk up and you're like, mate, you're a dickhead, like they're probably going to be fine.
But you can also socialise in different ways by just training or joining in with someone's challenge.
Join in on a game of stick.
Yeah, without maybe looking at a challenge that someone who might be on a lower level than you, one-bang it and then walk off.
Yeah, that's
not nice.
And I think also if you can games of stick are fairly commonplace, right? They're a good warm-up. Don't go up to a game of stick and then sort of essentially clearly see that they are playing in a certain area, and then just start almost act like you're socializing and training with them, but just start like taking over that space with a line or something. As much as it's no one owns it,
you can see that they're using it.
Games of stick normally happen in a little bubble, right?
Yeah,
in an area, and they kind of float around. And I feel like a game of stick won't get in the way of anyone else.
But you can get like them.
Well, no, but you wouldn't go and set a stick challenge where somebody else is trying something else.
Yeah, not at all.
It's not a thing. So don't try and socialise with a group and join in and then essentially disrupt it by doing something that isn't. Yeah, I think it's just common sense. Like,
yeah,
be aware. This is going to come down in every single case, but it's just always be aware, especially at an event like for the Lung Movement. Like, you could get yourself or someone else seriously hurt unless you have eyes in every orifice of your body. Like, you have to be so aware of where people are moving. Somebody might be 10 foot away from you and then be next to you in a second.
Yeah, you've really got to. Luckily, people are pretty good at. I don't know how it works, but I got shouted at so much by someone just going, move over, and they'll be on the other side of the room running up something. I'm like, how did I hear that?
Yeah,
that was really lucky.
But I think that's just like the subconscious awareness.
Yeah, and it's just like, be aware of, especially when you're running up to do something, a running pre or a Kong pre.
Yeah,
don't walk. You're not training outside at a spot with minimal people. When you're walking back to run up, you need to be looking
behind
everywhere.
You, yeah,
because I don't really do that necessarily training outside much. Yeah. You're zoned in.
I think like also it's training in small groups and socializing with people, because if you see somebody looking at a Kong pre that you also want to do, go and train with them. So like, you don't have to be talking loads because you might not speak the same language, but you can essentially help spot for the other, like the amount of times where you just want somebody spotting the landing in case somebody jumps to that. So i.e. they stand.
So it works in groups better, right?
And the dynamic you build with the person you're training with is great, because you might hit it first, they might hit it first, and then like it's your turn and they can help you, and you can build this like relationship based around kind of progression and almost committing to something with someone you've never met before.
Yeah, and you both get that feeling, the same feeling at that pretty much the same time.
It's so sick,
which is really, really cool.
And the greatest thing is that you could be training with someone who you aspire to be, or some famous person like Ed Scott or something, and he will take that time out to spot for you and to help you. And it's
maybe to do the same challenge.
Exactly,
do the same challenge
as
each other.
Incredibly kind of significant. We're kind of moving into like how best to train. We said like warm up well, like start. Start small, warm up.
You said earlier. I don't know if you already said it now, but you said earlier that you don't choose long. Try to stay away from like really long, strung out lines
at an event like that. Yeah,
because then you're going to have so many different people spotting, and it just it doesn't really work.
You get the occasional, David Nelms did a nice one where he kind of took over like half the gym running through it.
Yeah.
But you have to be so lucky with the window.
Yeah.
Your risk of putting someone else off or getting hit yourself. It's just common sense, isn't it? It's like courteous. So you typically find people training like a smaller footprint. Like they'll be practicing a Kong pre to a plyo rather than a Kong pre plyo to a lache.
Yeah. But the bigger the group, I find the easier to have a longer challenge.
For sure.
Because more people can see the crowd, the group before.
Yeah, totally.
Before, but
check your surfaces is another big one. Like especially.
Well, it's all. Obviously, this event is all. What's the word for it? It's not permanent.
Yeah.
Is it? The event isn't like the structures aren't permanent, so they're not absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So there's gonna have dust in the gym.
There's
gonna be chalk everywhere.
Day one, there's a lot of dust from where they've made it all. So you want to be careful there.
The chalk will get everywhere, so the rails will become really slippery. And also I'm pretty sure you can take the rails out and stuff. So there has been times where you can land, and I think have you seen like the cover comes off?
Yeah, the side bits pop out.
Which is fine. People will realise that and they'll put it back on. But you just be extra careful, because
I think
you don't want a bail to happen because you got it right and the surface wasn't there for you.
Yeah. And it even applies to like outside jams and any group event. Checking your surfaces is pretty obvious anyway, but just because somebody has like done an arm jump to a wall literally just before you, just always, I'm not saying fucking check every single time, but like you should always be aware. Like everyone will remember seeing Matera in for the Red Bull Out Motion. Like there was a lot of walls getting broken. A lot of walls getting broken, and like somebody would arm jump to something, and then somebody would jump up the second, like again, and then it would crumble because it's obviously getting weaker and weaker. So it's just, as once again, common sense. Don't be an idiot, basically. And yeah, I think try not to do anything that's going to disrupt too many people. Like there's always like kind of I've forgotten his name now. The guy who did the massive front flip. You'll get things like that where somebody will be wanting to do something massive, and like the room will almost stop.
Yeah, well, that's kind of thinking about it. There's loads of what you can look forward to in events like For the Love Movement are things like that. There's some exciting times. I think nearly everyone in the gym crowding around in the corner, specifically this year, because Dom was here and he was doing a big front flip.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dom, but it was who is that guy?
He's from
same guy who did the backflip pre, right?
He's from Schlappen, but I've forgotten his name.
But he did the backflip pre. Yeah. So he's sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love those moments. Pretty much everyone crowded around.
And it's weird because no one is like, hey guys, everybody watch this. And that guy is not necessarily doing something that's getting in the way of everyone, but it somehow naturally happens. But I think just...
that makes it safer for him because there's now a ring around it.
Exactly.
And you get that, particularly at For Love Movement, you get like a crazy bar session always going on. Do you remember bar tricks?
Yeah. Eric and DK would start smacking things. Like
this year, someone did swing double cast.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And landed it so nicely.
What the fuck?
I saw it at the corner of my eye and it was so weird because I swear that is not real.
It's, super rare. I'm bursting for a piss. Keelan, carry on.
Nice. But yeah, I particularly...
There's a little dog out here.
Don't let her in. Basically, Giles has obviously Darwin and has his mother's dog Yuli round, and he's had to dog sit her, I think, for New Year's and also for the next 2 weeks. And it's so funny. See, she's a little dog and Darwin is big, and the dynamic between them. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling on, but I particularly enjoy the moments that everyone crowds around and watches it because it's almost like suddenly there's a performance and someone's doing something difficult and everyone, especially when someone does something like a swing double cast, everyone feels the hype. Like NAPC, when someone smashes out a crazy run, the same sort of thing happens at events. I accidentally started talking about Yuli and Darwin.
That's all right.
But don't worry, went off topic.
She's up here on her own, so she probably just shit somewhere. She literally poos twiglets.
Really?
Like large twiglets. That's her poos.
Are they easy? What in the house?
Large. No, outside.
Okay, but if they're in the house, they're dry.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying how you have to dog sit for 2 weeks, and the dynamic between them is hilarious.
It's great. So, what not to do at an event? Firstly, I mean, it kind of, once again, common sense. Just keep your eyes out. There was a really funny scenario, actually, where there's some young kids who were at For Love Movement, and they were obviously having so much fun, and they were running around, kind of free as a bird, and we were standing there, and they ran past us, like, doing, like, speed vault, turn vault, and I said to, like, Max or someone else, like, oh, they're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And then seconds later, one of them just almost died themselves and almost killed someone else because they ran under some... And it's like, don't let little kids sprint around because someone's going to get hurt, and it's not necessarily that person's fault. It's going to be the kid's fault.
Yeah.
And yeah, same for you.
And also they did call out on the mic. They said anyone who is not training and sitting around like on the...
Yeah.
Because you will get that. Because to be honest, I quite like doing that. You might be kind of...
I always feel bad because I'm walking with the camera.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of different. But I know you're not using the setup to train.
But sometimes I'm not actually filming. I'm looking for something to film. And I kind of just wander around. And people are like, hey, move! And I'm like, oh, shit, sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
but there will be like groups of people. I've seen them and they'll be sitting on the apparatus and just chatting. And it is nice because it is fun to be involved with it. But if you are doing that, there's so... At For Love Movement, there's the... what are they called on the edges?
The bleachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just try and free up as much space as possible because then you won't
stay off
get
the
killed.
class. Leave it for the pros, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take shit when other people are clearly using... Well, not even
Don't
clearly
take a shit.
Don't take a shit. No, do take shits. I was so lucky.
What?
I got to... I think on the second day, I walked past the toilets. You know, there's that one where there's only one cubicle. It's just a urinal with one cubicle. Normally, I'll go to the toilets at the back by the bar.
Oh, yeah, but you went in the grotty toilets.
So
I don't like
350 people in one sports hall, and there's only about 4 toilets for the guys. Yeah, there are, in fact, 4 actual toilets. they get messy real quick.
Yeah.
And I walked past one in the morning, needing a shit, literally as they finished cleaning it. So they just, as they walked out, I was like, is that? And they were like, yeah, go ahead.
No way.
And I was like, yeah.
And it was actually really nice.
So I got fresh porcelain.
Nice.
Amazing. No, don't take... If people are... Well, ask before you take a mat or a block or anything. Like, it's fucking frustrating if somebody's... I don't know, Max is looking at a side pre to a rail and he's been prepping it and he's had a couple of attempts and he's almost nailed it, and then somebody comes along and just takes the mat away and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
it breaks the cycle of it.
It really does, and it's not safe.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I think
that's the same with we've already said this, but just check who's using what obstacle as well, and even if you're not moving it, it's just check, wait and see what's happening, because usually there's like 3 different
like paths
groups,
almost.
like paths on the same obstacle, and you'll see it's like traffic lights. They'll like one group will go and then the next one. If you start your own line, you're gonna have to be wary of what else
we
is
literally
going
had
on.
it where that big setup in the middle with the walls.
Yeah,
there was people doing like 180 practice in the middle between the walls.
Yeah,
people doing Kong Prees, and then also people doing the I was joining in with the running like strides and the plyos over the top. And there was one of the people doing the 180s was acting as a traffic light, and they were literally just doing thumbs up in each direction. Like,
oh, really?
Go. And it worked so fucking well.
Wow.
Like, it's really cool.
That's brilliant.
I think, as we said, enjoy yourself, especially at an event like this where it's half a party. Like, it's completely fine to get obliterated in the evening, and no one's going to judge you. Like, for the adults, I mean, it's gonna be weird if kids do it, but like, there is a bar on site. They're serving cheap alcohol and weed is legal. Like, it's totally do it. Just don't waste your training time. Like, you can party until the early hours.
If you know you're one of the people who suffers from hangovers a lot, then maybe just do it on the last night.
Very true. Unless you're like me and then you got drive back. See,
oh no, I didn't think about it like that.
I nailed it. I crowd surfed and then went to bed. I had such a good time.
So another do not do will be don't request for killing in the name of at the after party.
Causes chaos.
I
didn't even request it. I said to Bart, because there was some fucking...
Did you say put something heavy
there was a 6 song on, and it wasn't even like heavy, but people were loving it and people started crowd surfing. And then some like really shit like like house track, and the crowd went dead, and Bart was behind the bar, and I was like, Bart, put something heavier on. Yeah. So we put on Prodigy, which got everyone going, and then he put on Killing in the Name of. So that kicked it all up.
That was so funny. Apart from that, I think it was really... I'm happy that people still helped people up when they fell over.
Always, yeah.
It always happened, but still, I had a full beer and it just got knocked out of my hand.
Tragic.
It got knocked out, I caught it, and it was half gone, so I just kind of threw it.
Gone.
But yeah, no, and then do crowd surf. That's a do.
That is, yeah. Actually, I was thinking about this. I reckon there is a lot of people who go to that event who maybe have never been to a live gig before, because the after parties in the bar are just always like a weird level of chaos, and like somehow, because you wouldn't go out in your local town and suddenly end up crowd surfing off the bar.
No.
Somehow at Parkour event that happens.
Yeah.
And I reckon for some people that's like their first chance to like crowd surf, and to have it under like, to be surrounded by people who are like not strangers, they're parkour people, because at a venue like they're all randomers. That's sick. Like,
it is so cool.
Really
it's
cool
actually
experience.
really cool, especially the guy who managed to palm flip the ceiling.
Oh my fucking
That's actually
God.
stupid. I can't believe he not stupidly.
I only saw the video clip.
Same, yeah.
So the guy is getting bounced on his back, so people have got their hands on his back and they're bouncing him in the crowd, and the ceiling is really low, like you could jump from the floor and just get like a full palm on it, and they throw him up and he palm flips the ceiling and lands on his feet. Like on his feet while getting caught, and it was the sickest, insane.
It's ridiculous. It is actually ridiculous.
Best movement thing that happened at the event.
Yeah,
like so sick. What is your opinion on the? I mean, this will probably I think we maybe touched on this with Dom slightly, but also when we finally tackle the drugs topic.
Yes.
The people at that event who become minor celebrities for all of a day for rolling joints the fucking width of a Coke can. Like,
what's my opinion on it?
Just that on the final night, right? To anyone who didn't go, these guys rolled this joint that was like, I mean, it was the size of that fucking water bottle. Like, it was
very, very big.
I think it was like 65 quid's worth of weed.
It like, Oh, I just knocked over the mic.
There were people in the crowd frothing.
Yeah, but maybe just because they love it. But
they thought it was the coolest thing they'd ever seen.
Yeah, but maybe it is in their world. But I shouldn't be judgmental. Yeah, because imagine if this would actually be more impressive. But imagine if someone came in with like a weirdly, because you can't just get like a big, maybe like a beer can that was oddly like the same like size. Like height,
just a giant,
but was really wide and just weird looking. That would be more impressive or like a weirdly shaped
I don't think there's anything special.
And then it was
there.
Passing it around, and it was just like a massive beer, and they bought it.
It is stupid because
I think it's because when he rolls something that big, whoever it was, everyone around him kind of knows it's not just for him. So everyone's like, "Yeah, I want some." But personally, I don't really enjoy smoking weed, so like. I've just found out that I'm not a fan of it.
I guess
so. I can't really relate to it that much now. But I'd still go out and just watch it. I took a couple Polaroids and was joining in, but I can't.
I was there watching it. It's just that I was standing next to a couple of guys who literally were like giddy. Like imagine like they were meeting some fucking famous celebrity for the first time. They were giddy with excitement, and like when they were lighting it, I was like, this is so weird. Like, and I've been young. In a relating it to like the alcohol sense, like I guess you do.
It's hard to like.
But you do like the boot, like you've seen the big glass boot.
Yeah.
I've done that, and that's like you're like, whoa, let's all down.
Well, everyone would crowd around for that. Do you know what I mean? It's
I think it's the same.
But there's a lot of people who don't drink and they just smoke weed. So that's the their
equivalent.
Thing.
I think I'm just old and boring.
Well, I didn't really. It didn't change my night seeing that. I was just like, whee, and then I went back in. Like,
I think I was just standing there. And
I was shocked about with the amount of people that were there.
Yeah,
that was like nearly felt like the whole event was outside. But
I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and boring. I was just baffled that because it's kind of impressively cool, but also there were people there who were literally like hyper, like a small child at the sight of this thing, and then also the prospect of like gobbing on the back of this thing that like 30 other people also had. It weirded me out.
It would kill me if I did that. But, you know.
All right, so I actually wrote. Oh no, let's do hygiene quickly before I do filming events.
Yes.
If you go to For the Love of Movement and you do a poo, number 2, whatever you call it, at that event, which unless you have something weird going on, almost every single person is going to do that. Like it's a 3-day event.
Unless you have something weird going on.
And I'm outside, and I'm brushing my teeth, and you walk out and you don't wash your hands after having a shit, I will forever judge you. Forever. And I saw it happen. I think every single time I was doing my teeth,
someone had a shit and just walked out straight, especially they're about to go on the bars.
Well, that's the thing. It's an event like that, which is going to be dirty anyway because the amount of people.
I got my body. That sounds really weird. I got my body wet a lot there. I constantly went up to the sink and was like with my face mostly, but I made a post. I did a caption on Motus thing. It's just.
Well, that's because we were talking about this thing, weren't we? Like,
you're wiping your shoes all the time as well. And then you're eating all together, and it's like you're going to have snacks that you don't use cutlery for.
I freak myself out, right? Because by the way, if anyone comes up to me at events like that and I don't shake your hand when you offer it to me and I go for a fist bump, it's because I spit on my hands all the time to wipe the dust off my shoes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But so I had halfway through like the first day or something, but technically like the second day.
Yeah.
I'd realised that I'd been spitting on my hands and then wiping them on my shoes a lot to dry off the dust because my shoes just seem to always get dusty. But then I'm like, well, how many times have I touched my mouth or food or my face? And my feet have walked into those toilets which are covered in piss. Like, there's piss everywhere. And I'm like, oh. And then on top of that, people just shit and they don't wash their hands.
I know.
It freaks me out. But not in like a weird hygiene way. I just think like, how? Why are you?
Yeah. But also, tips for showering.
Baby wipes.
Giles does baby wipes.
I just don't shower.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's your washing sorted.
Well, so morally, I don't feel right in. Well, I'm not European. I'm British. Brexit. No, in the sense that I'm not one of those people who will happily get naked around loads of people, especially given that there's a lot of.
There's a lot of younger people
there that it just doesn't make me feel like I don't want a fucking 12-year-old walking in
and you're just showering.
That's weird.
It is weird. I mean, I think I've only been in there a couple of times when there's been like other people from the event,
and I don't
want. I'd be in my swimming shorts. I can't. I just find it weird.
That's
but I've been in there. I mean, not to say like we'd go in there when no one else is in there, and I say we, I mean like some of the Motus boys, and I know them very well, so I don't give a shit. But it's just with new people, I do find it a bit strange.
But so you lock the doors, right, on either side?
Well, I was going to try not to say that. Sorry,
no, but
Mark.
I think that's fine if you're in a group.
It is. The girls
do it. Like
it's with a group, and we do it at a time when no one's really using it.
Yeah.
And it's just it also makes us efficient because it's like, okay, door's locked, I can shower, I can feel fresh, dry off. Doors unlocked, whoosh, done.
Yeah, but like swimming trunks for me isn't an option because they're not going to dry in that room. Like
my towel got really disgusting.
Yeah. So what I do is and I've done this. I mean, I think it's just through going to festivals when I was younger.
Kai's also done baby wipes.
Bring a pack of baby wipes, and you just do your gooch and all those bits, and keep yourself fresh. And then you get home and you have a shower. After 3 days of not washing.
Yay.
But that's our life, hygiene wise.
And remember to brush your teeth.
Yeah, I forgot my toothbrush, and Eric brought me a fucking Barbie one.
Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. I mean, I forgot 2 nights in a row. I love before I went to sleep.
We're literally doing a podcast about like how to brush your teeth.
But like I would find. I mean, this is kind of because the after party and stuff, and you'd get drunk, and then when you're near your bed, and you're kind of getting into your bed, and you're quite drunk, and you're like, I just go to sleep. And then you brush it in the morning, but yeah, try and brush your teeth a lot. You're going to be saying hello to a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of human interaction. You're like, I want to speak to you.
Deodorize your armpits as well.
Oh, what we didn't write down is spend shitloads of money buying Motus clothing, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
That's the main thing. Don't even train. Yeah. Just bring a wallet full of cash.
And just keep going to the back of the queue, because there's fat off queues where we're selling our
doors. People from outside, all the muggles, they come in.
Exactly.
So I also basically ages ago was thinking, I think it was actually when I was writing blog posts for Urban Free Flow, literally years ago, when Urban Free Flow had that weird resurgence, and it was tips of how to film at an event. That was kind of one of the things I was planning on doing, and it's just been on my phone ever since, and I found it. But this is for those of you who, because there are now a few of you who want to do more event filming, and I think it's an incredibly beneficial thing to do more of. And I've done a shitload of it, to the extent where a couple of years ago I was like, I'm never filming a parkour event again, because I did I did all the Off the Edge tours and then the Storm tour, which had jams on it, and it does become quite formulaic filming at jams. Like, there's only
this kind of, you feel like it's quite repetitive or what?
Yeah, like obviously if you're super creative you can keep switching things up, but I'm not. So I mean, I'm just gonna bang through some things, but like, be prepared with your gear. Think about the environment you're going into, whether it be filming it for the Love Movement or filming it the Art of Motion, or because this is the other thing. It's like when I started up with Visive, one of our best videos was I went to the Red Bull Art of Motion in London and I filmed it from the viewpoint, where everyone else was. But put out my video within 24 hours. I put it out quickly. It had more views than the Red Bull video.
Really? Yeah, that's sick.
Like, it got like 100,000 views or something crazy like that. Yeah. That could be exaggeration, but I think it did pretty well.
No, that's sick. That is. So you be fast with it.
Yeah, you can boost yourself if
everyone's looking for kind of for Love Movement video, aren't they?
Well, I mean, no offense to, I think it's normally Sergio, but not this year. But like, the For the Love Movement highlight videos have sometimes taken like 6 months to come out.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, if
no, everyone's over it.
Everyone wants that shit straight away. They want to see how that event was.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can fill that gap if you're quick with it. So be prepared. Think about what kind of video you want to create, what kind of environment you're going into. Will you need long lenses, wide lenses, etc. Like, I mean, this is standard par for the course with any filming thing.
Yeah. But I found as well, you need to, if you're going to put your camera down, you need to put it in sensible places.
Oh, for sure.
Because I was obviously handling your camera.
And when you're on the platforms, it's got all the edges.
Yeah. I found myself like putting it in my jumper like behind like
a
bits
wall,
where I know no one's going to go there to train. That's not a spot.
Sure.
So just don't leave your camera or phone or anything like on the course.
I would say for the most,
you'll be crying.
Yeah, for the most part, if you're going to film an event, go light. Like, you don't want a full-on gimbal rig and everything else.
No.
Like, especially the way technology is going.
Yeah.
Stay light and malleable.
For sure.
Do you need permission? Like, i.e., for the Love Movement, if you've got a ticket, you can just go and film. Technically, you could make the best event video before someone else.
Yeah.
Red Bull Automotion, Air Up Challenge, you can't go on the course while the competition is going on. And fuck me, people have tried. Like, especially Automotion, where you get people and they just wander around. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yes, you want to make a video, but you have to respect the level of organisation that is going on. And if somebody else is being paid to make the official video, then you cannot hinder them. Like, it's not your thing.
For sure.
And yeah, the more gear you have, this is going back to the gear thing, the more potential there is for someone to crash into you or whatever. Common sense, as always, stay out of people's way. Depending, like, you have to keep your wits about you. The best filming angle might not necessarily. You could be standing in the worst place, and it happens to me all the time. I stand up and I've just stepped into the front of a fucking Kong Prix, and I'm like, sorry guys.
I sometimes don't realise it for quite a while as well.
Always, because you're focused on the shot.
Yeah. Luckily, because we this year had your camera and it has a good zoom, so there was some good. I could easily get some angles from without being in people's way.
I think one of the biggest things is to invest time in athletes. So that is like, you want to get a lot of footage if you're making an event video, but if you see Keelan prepping a dash pre and he's just looking at it the first time, like, are you going to wait? Like, you might end up waiting 25 minutes, but that shot might be the payoff of the video. Like, that might be the best bit. Also, it might not amount to anything. So you're taking a risk.
You need to be on the lookout for the big shit that's going down. Really.
Also, that is the thing. You got to kind of scan and be like, that's going to be good. That's going to be good.
Yeah, but and just try and get a bit of everything. Especially with an event like that, I think it's cool to just see you now have like the chance to see everyone's style. Yeah. Like with you, what you would be doing when you're training.
You want a good reflection. You want to make
and filming, like you said, filming people prep stuff is also like really sick.
Yeah, this is the hard thing. Is like, let's say Keelan's prepping a dash pre for 25 minutes, and you're like, ooh, I want to get some build up because this might be a banger. Like, this is going to be big. I want to get a shot of his hands on the wall, his eyes. I want to get this and this. I'm building this scene in my head. But then when it comes to the edit that you're trying to get out in 24 hours, you've got 15 minutes of prep.
That, and then nothing.
So in some ways, you've got to be selective and be like, oh, I want a shot of Keelan prepping. Yeah. That's going to have to do. Like, you've always got to be thinking about the edit.
But you can't be getting in people's way while doing that.
Exactly.
Oh, can you just do this for me? Like, what? Like, can you just stand there and act? Like, no.
But yeah, invest. Yeah. If you invest the time, some of the clips you will get, and also it builds a really good connection with the athlete. The athlete knows you're filming, as long as they're also make sure the athlete is happy with you filming, for one. Like, if they're like, mate, can you film this? Fuck off! Like, immediately, it's not your job.
I had someone come up to me when I filmed Jordan he did like the side pre to palm flip.
Yep.
He did one. You've probably seen it. Side pre palm flip, and then he did the touchdown.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called, and then someone came up to me and was like, I've just filmed that like on like my phone, is it okay if I put it on my story? Which is nice, because I was just like, yeah, of course you can. Like, it's not, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
And I think people are getting used to, like, at jams, I'm pretty sure everything's going to get seen.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool to like have that as
for sure.
Could be saving footage, but
yeah, you build up a good relation. I think honestly that's how I've built some really good friendships with athletes in the community, is like, just like, through going through that process, they're breaking down a mental barrier. You might be able to chip in with how to think about it in a different way. You might be able to say, like, mate, I think you've got this. Like, it's a really good thing to be a part of. And like, at the end of the day, if like we've spoken of in the past on this podcast, you might not want to be an athlete. Like, if you want to be a filmmaker, building up those relationships that way is going to be incredibly positive for the sort of potential career.
Yeah.
And be diverse with who you film. Like, yes, you want to film the good shit, but you want to show a good reflection of the event. So if there's a really cool moment where some young kids are breaking mental challenges, like, that is going to be beneficial for the video.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be other kids who probably can relate to that.
Yeah.
Watching the video.
Like, I think the thing that I'm always so bad at, and I think because I'm guilty of this so often, is we need to be showing off more women at these events. Like there's some incredible women, and I sort of well it's easier for me to hang around with Keelan and that lot because I'm good mates with them, and it's like, oh, Keelan's doing cool shit, I'm going to end up filming that. But really, if you want to be showing a perfect reflection of the event, like you want to be,
there was so many sick things that the girls were doing,
amazing girls,
so many good things.
And it's more like, let's say for the Love Movement, that event is going to be more attractive to girls in the future if they can see there's other girls training. Like, 100%. They want to see a good reflection.
But there were more. I mean, I've missed out a few For the Love Movements, but when we first arrived on the first day, I was so shocked to see so many girls without the event even starting, which is really cool.
The amount of girls training in Europe is amazing now. Like, England, I feel like, is still a little bit behind, but Europe, in terms of like the continent or whatever you call it, is fucking amazing.
Awesome.
Speak to the organisers if you get the chance. Like, it's good to build relationships there. You don't necessarily have to be like, I'm gonna make an event video and I'm gonna put it out first. Like, but if you build up that connection and then you do drop a video first, and they've hired someone else who then takes a year to put the video out or flops, like, it's a good, and next year they might say, hey, we've got a bit of budget, do you want to come and film for us? So like, building up these relationships is incredibly important.
That goes along obviously with editing it fast.
Be
speedy. Just with events.
It's tricky. Like, you want to be speedy, but also
you don't want to fuck it up. You don't want to put together something that's not good. Spend a good amount of time on it.
If you have aspirations to put together a really creative edit and you want it to reflect your style, then don't rush that. But be aware that, unfortunately, in this day and age, the fastest thing is gonna be, as long as it's not dog shit, it's gonna be probably the most viewed.
Yeah.
Only put what you need to in there, like, especially if you've gone with a group of mates and you want to make an event video that reflects the whole thing as the event, rather than like, because let's say we're going to make a Motus event video, we're going to put in funny shit the Motus guys do. But if you want to make a video that just straight up reflects that with no kind of bias, don't put in a video with your mate like fucking around, like wiping his poo somewhere or something like that. Like, it's
chucking his poo on the ceiling.
Yeah, you want a video that reflects the event as sort of honestly and broadly as possible, and you don't want somebody to be turned off by like Little John being a dickhead.
Didn't Max chuck his poo on the ceiling?
We won't talk about this. Not for the Love Movement, I would like to point out. That
No.
But I don't think this should be spoken about on the podcast.
No one knows if I'm telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
We know Max is a funny individual.
Exactly. Make it positive. That's obvious. I don't think... I feel like unless you are trying to put out content that is sort of reviewing, there's no point. If something goes wrong at an event, or like, I don't know, like, you wouldn't want to just randomly put in a video like, oh, the toilets are disgusting. Like, it doesn't... No one cares. Like, just keep it positive. And then, did you write "fuck you, Giles" on the notes?
It worked.
It did work.
Yes.
Keelan's
I can now alter in every episode. I can alter your notes. I was waiting for it to pop up on yours. I was like, is it gonna?
We could type stuff like sort of, no, stop talking about the poo incident.
Yeah, exactly.
Keelan's on an iPad and I'm on my phone, and he's
I was gonna write a fake note and see if you like started talking about it, but I didn't know whether it would do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think the main thing to follow up with is to, once your video is out, is share the shit. Well, share it, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram, put together some shareable assets, especially for like let's say you've got some amazing clips of Ed Scott that he maybe hasn't got on his phone, and like put together a little edit and give it to him and be like, hey, this video is live, here's some clips, and the likelihood is he'll share that and then link to your video. Therefore,
like you want to think about YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram all together.
Yeah. I think, thankfully,
TikTok.
I obviously wrote this back when Instagram was less big and Facebook was bigger, because I said, don't spam it. Because obviously, do you remember when people used to just block any Facebook Messenger just to everyone? Watch this video, watch this video.
Yeah, I know.
Like, fuck that.
I used to, when I was a kid, that sounds really weird.
When I was a boy.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
No, when I'd I think maybe my first year, I'm pretty sure I shared my video on Storm's page or something. Like I put it.
Oh,
I made
like
a
on the
like
wall.
on the wall.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited. I was like, yes, I managed to put it there.
Someone's gonna see it.
Yeah. I didn't think it was possible, and I was like, oh my god, I can put this here. Don't do that. It's very weird.
Do you remember when you had like the 3 featured photos on Facebook? It was like a line like that
underneath,
on your profile,
yeah.
And it was whatever photos you were most recently tagged in.
Yeah.
So what me and Jamie did with Visive, just to fuck with like certain people, I think we did it to Scott Bass.
Yeah.
Is we made 3 that said like www.visiveproductions.com, and then we tagged him in it. So if you went
did it do?
Yes, so if you went on his profile, because we did it in the right order, it would say like Scott Bass and then just advertise our website. So we did that to a couple of people, but obviously
that's the perfect person to do.
In good sort of in jest.
Poor Scott.
Yeah, but yeah, send it around, send it to the organisers. But if your video is good and if you've done a good job of the event, it will get views and it will be shared. Like, and so yeah, that's really the sort of main takeaway, I think.
Takeaway?
So, I would fucking love a takeaway.
What are you doing for dinner?
I actually don't know.
Am I staying for dinner?
If you want. I mean, we haven't even started editing yet, and it's 5:30.
Yeah, I know.
So
but that's dinner time.
It is dinner time.
Yeah.
We need to go to Tesco's.
Maybe we should have a takeaway KFC vegan burger.
No, because that's effort to get there, but I really want that.
Oh. Sorry, I need a poo.
Oh dear. Well, I think that sort of sums up this episode. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you found some form of value in it. I think really,
especially if people haven't been to For the Love Movement before and you've listened to this, then I'm pretty sure you'd want
I think we've sold it.
I think we've sold it.
But also any parkour event, whether it's and also the more parkour events you go to, it supports those events. In like, let's say somebody starts a parkour event in the town nearby to you and you don't go to it, but also no one else goes to it, they're probably not going to do it again.
Yeah.
If you go to it and you get some other people, like, we need to be supporting this shit, because the more that grow, some will stick around for a year and then disappear.
But others is supporting those grassroots events.
For the Love Movement was not how big it is now 5 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
It's only gone that way because people have attended. So go and support.
Yeah. I've just remembered. So when we finished the last podcast we did, that was when I needed a poo. So I've held it in for an hour.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well done. We probably shouldn't drag this out with anything else. Then we should just wrap it up so you can.
I'm going to keep reminding you because I'm dying.
Well, let's. We can finish this up. I was just going to say if there's anything else. Oh, I don't know when this episode's coming out, but While She Sleeps, 24th of January, second Motus Prodcast meetup.
Did I buy tickets for that?
I've got a ticket downstairs. Don't worry.
What one did I buy tickets to?
No, I don't think you did.
No.
I just buy tickets and you just come along.
All the time, every time. You're just too good.
If anyone's going While She Sleeps, let me or Keelan know and we'll meet up with you there. And
I think we should get fifth unit Chris.
I think the tickets might already now be sold out.
Oh.
But if he's got one, then he should come.
And Marcus,
yes.
Anyway, yeah. Listen. Shh.
Subscribe, like, share, etc., etc. Love you, lottos.
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 Win the lottery. Bye.
Bye.